All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out here so everybody can join in. 1 second. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. 1 second. I've got a quick email right here. And good. So we got that going on. Good, good, good. All right, so. And good. So we got that. Hopefully everybody had a great trading day today. So today we're going to be continuing our discussion on day trading Elliott wave, and today we're going to be profiling AMD. So before we get started, though, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off at the market today. Then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we might have in store going into this evening. We'll also take a look at some Elliott wave on the futures here tonight. And then we'll go over the topic, and then we'll take a look at questions and chart requests. So let's get started. So SPX. SPX with a quite a day today, right? So up 67 points. Monthly chart still red. We got a little bit of a rally off of yesterday's down move. If we go to the weekly chart here, you can see weekly has turned itself green. Right, green spinning top right now. It was a hammer earlier. We did a little bit of pullback at the end of the day. Again, this gap below here on the weekly chart is still very, very strong, right? So again, those open gaps on the weekly are high probability fills. Eventually. So, and we're also entering into the Cloud Canyon right here, at the Cloud Canyon. So, lots of potential volatility coming into this area as we lead up into the elections in November, right? So you can see how interesting this is portending, right? So we have that going on. Daily chart on the SPX. So why did we not break down yesterday? Why did we gap up today? What's the big reason? Well, I mean, there's no really necessarily particular reason other than how the futures behaved overnight and where they gapped it. But why didn't we go short here? Because we broke out of the trend box, right? So we broke down below these levels. The issue was, we talked about this last night, right? The issues were that we were low volume, right? Decreasing volume on these, right? So when we broke down last time for the Corona crash, right, before we had a trend reversal, what we look for are these trend boxes are increased volume when we break down below the level. So it happened here, right? We formed a trend box right here on the Corona crash. We had a close below those levels, but the volume was increasing. It showed that there was interest, right, to the downside. And then we had the gap down, and then we started the Corona flush, right? And then so here, right, we broke down. Now don't get me wrong, these were great, right? These gave us some great down moves intraday, huge moves, just fantastic stuff. But yesterday we did not break down, we did not close below these levels with increasing volume. So what it did is it turned into what we've talked about in the past is a low volume fake out, right? And we got a nice gap up here this morning and kind of squeezed out some shorts here today, which is kind of like the predominant tone of the day. Let's go back to SPX here and take a look at the intraday price action, see what we're talking about. Then we'll take a look at the futures and see how they kind of led into that move. And there's a lot of Elliott wave action that happened there. So basically what happened, so obviously the futures kind of pushed it up right here, and then we gapped up, right? We didn't gap over these highs, which would have been really interesting. We might have seen a bigger squeeze on that one. So when we opened here within yesterday's range, obviously anybody who's short the prior day got really nervous right here, and then once we finally pushed above the prior day's range with a strong candle, right, they gave up, right, and we got another push to the upside, and then we paused a little bit, and we just kept on grinding up. So bears might have thought like, hey, we're still going to work our way down, right, and just failed, right. Every time the short opportunities happen, right, they kept on buying the dip today. We were also holding the AMD nicely here today, right? So it wasn't until the end of the day where the bulls were trying to break into, right, some of the prior ranges, some prior closes, some prior days levels, right, where they just couldn't get there at the end of the day, and they've decided to just kind of, dump it, right, and they just let go, and then we push down. So some really good context there for the intraday. Here's the levels that we provide to our members before each market opens, so you can see how these play out as well, right? So we got to we had a gap up, we gapped over some key levels. It wasn't like we said until we pushed over the prior day's high where we started to see the move up. Right, and then we got up to the next level, right? A little bit, a couple little short opportunities right here. This looked like a nice Elliott wave up here too, right? So it looked like the wave was done. It started to work its way back down. It was like, oh, nope, done. A little quick little zigzag down here, and then we had another impulsive wave up, right? And then with a little ABC into the end of the day, and then the flush that we just talked about. So good stuff there. So let's take a look. Let's look at the futures and see how we got into what was happening here today. And let's take a look at what's happening here tonight. So we're actually down here this evening. We're not really too surprised. We in our group, right? We have a Discord. And we have a futures channel, right, where we focus more on the futures. You can post there, during the night, your trade ideas, things like that. And so tonight we actually posted this, which we got to the 618 retrace tonight. And we were expecting a down move off of this. And why did we do that? And then I'll get to how we got here too. So today, at the end of the day, right, we actually had a nice Elliott wave down to get into the close, right? So here, after we hit those highs, right, and like we talked about, the bulls kind of gave up at the end of the day. They were not going to push those levels. They gave up, and then the bears really started to step in and started, getting this thing down, right? So we could see here, in fact, it actually helps if I go to the 1 minute chart on this one. Let's see if it'll squeeze in here for us here. Right, so you can see here, it's a little bit clearer on the 1 minute chart, right? So we had our initial move down, right, an impulsive move down. We had a pause, right? So ABC up here for a wave 2, right? And then we worked our way down here to finish the wave 3, right? And then we had a wave 4. Well, why was wave 4 so big here? Well, one of the reasons is that wave 2 is small. So there's a guideline of alternation with Elliott wave that if you have a small wave 2, you have a big wave 4, right? It's not a guarantee, it's not a rule, but it is a nice guideline that Elliott wave offers. Sometimes you have a big wave 2, you have a smaller wave 4. Now, normally wave 2 is the bigger wave. A lot of times you get a 618 retrace. You could even, like the rule said, as long as you don't go over the start of wave 1, right, you can pull back. And we looked at that on Tesla yesterday on that big pullback at the open. Right, but in this case, it really didn't happen right here. So we started to work our way down, and even if you didn't see the wave 2, you could still say that this was a nice shooting star candle right here off of an inside candle, and that gave a good move down, right? And then it's continued to work its way down here until we bounced, right? And so, and then this is end of the day type stuff, right? So, so we started to push into the close all the way up here, right? And we got another nice move down at the end of the day, and you can see here if we just do a quick retracement on this one, we could see that it was a 50% retrace to get to wave 4, never crossed over the start of wave 1, and that started the impulsive wave 5 down, right? So wave 3 was not the shortest wave, and this counts as a valid wave, right? And then we finished here at the end of the day, wave 5, and then we started a corrective pattern, right? You can see we broke out of this channel right here. And then we started to see what was really going on right here after hours, right? So after a wave, after an impulsive wave, right, we expect a corrective wave, right? So we had 5 waves down, right? So after that, we expect an ABC correction, right? So we don't like to trade necessarily wave A, but one of the things that we noticed here going into tonight, into the futures, is that if you put your channel on here, right, we're still kind of contained overall within the whole range of this impulsive move. We didn't break out of it until here, right? But what was curious about this is that this was an impulsive move back up, right? So this is one of those V-type reversals that we've been seeing a lot of recently, right? So so this is definitely an impulsive move up, right, into the end of the day. So a lot of the shorts who were done, right, just started covering, all that stuff. But this is definitely an impulsive move. So what this looks like to me is a potential zigzag move, and a zigzag in Elliott wave is a 5-3-5, right? So you get an impulsive move up, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, to get your wave A, and then you have an A, B, C down here to get your wave B, and then you can see we pretty much impulsed up for the rest of the this move here up until about 7:15 tonight, and that gave us the finish of the wave C move. But what I really like about this move here is that it was a 618 retrace of the initial down move today, right? So from here to here, right? And so that gave us a really key indication that, hey, this corrective pattern might be over right here, right? We got a nice bearish engulfing candle right here on the just on the 1 minute chart that started the wave down, right? And you can see we're actually working our way down nicely off of this. So what this implies, right, is that really this is part of a bigger wave down, right? So really this is kind of, because remember each wave is made up of smaller waves, and so really this is like a wave 1, this is your wave 2, right? And then now we're working on a potential wave 3 down right now. So we'll see. We could see now some more downside action tonight. But either way, however this ends up playing itself out, was a really nice retrace, a really nice pullback here off of the 618. And you can see we're back at the lows of the day right now. They're finding it as a bit of support, but if we do break down below these levels, we could see some more downside action here tonight. And then we'll see where that takes us in tomorrow. Down 10 points right now. If we push down, if it gets really far, right, we might see down here at this 33.80 level, we might see another bounce up and then see another push down here. We could gap down pretty hard tomorrow if this does end up playing out. Again, that's if this count is correct, but so far it seems to be playing out nicely. Okay, so hopefully that in itself was a good description of why we are where we are. Now, how did we get to where we were today, right? So how did this big move happen, right? So if you kind of scroll out here, one of the cool things that happened overnight, and we talked about this on the videos today, one of the cool things that happened overnight is that we channeled up into today. right? So all through the night, right, we were just kind of working on this channel right here. But what we noticed is that this wave up right here was impulsive, right? So we can count this as a wave one. If we look at this as a corrective wave right here, right, pulled back. One, and then what we saw was, let me kind of zoom in here so you can see it. This is what we point out on our live streams during the day, is that we had this impulsive move up, right? Clearly an impulsive move up, and once that was done, we expect an ABC correction, right? And so we got a nice flat correction right here, ABC-A, ABC-B, 3, 3, and then you could kind of count this as a 5 if you need to. And that was your wave down, right? And then we started a fresh move up with an impulsive wave up, a 1. We had an ABC correction here, and this is going into the open. This is 9 o'clock this morning, and then boom, we impulsed up here this morning. So we rode this channel up all morning. We had a fresh Elliott wave working its way up this morning into the open. So that shows us where our gap was today. And then this pullback right here, notice how the wave 2 is about, this can go all the way back down to the start of the wave 1, came down right here, and then it gave some sub waves up today and gave some really, really nice buyable dips today, right? We had this pushback right here, very, very buyable to get up to our signal zone. We had an ABC down here to get to the next signal zone, indicating the end of a wave. And here was that zigzag move down, and then we impulsed up one more time, right? We chopped here, right? So ABC, corrective move. We got to the tops, and then we started the impulsive move down, and now that is where we are tonight. Okay, it's cool stuff. I know it's a lot to take in right there, but that's a pretty complex look at Elliott wave and the type of stuff that we look at intraday and also trading futures at night, and can be really, really helpful to get some context in the overall market. So that being said, let's take a look at the topic. So this week, I know it seems like that's the topic itself, but I won't belabor this too long because that was a pretty good discussion on Elliott wave there. But tonight we're going to be talking about day trading Elliott wave. We're going to profile AMD. I just want to show another example of intraday stuff because futures are cool. Not everybody trades it overnight, but they do really have some big implications of what could be happening intraday, right? So yesterday's choppy action, right, was really just this ABC move yesterday, right? So we had an impulsive move. They took a lot of meat off the bone the night before, right? So that was your impulsive wave down. And yesterday was basically just a big corrective wave, right? We had the ABC, and then we got a little bit of a move down at the end of the day, and then we gapped down to finish that wave. We talked about that last night. Okay, so let's talk about AMD real quick. I want to show you a quick example of this one. This occurred basically the same day that Tesla was really strong that we talked about yesterday. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to go back a couple days here, and I already have it labeled here. So let's go back to this day, right? So back on August 31st. Okay, so a nice move here on AMD at the open, right? So AMD was getting really, really strong. It was really, really tight the day before, right? Got, triangle type pattern, right? And then we started to break out to the upside, right? So this was at the open. So we had a nice strong move at the open, right? And then we pulled back here, right, to form a wave 2, and really kind of triangulated and then broke out again. And so really kind of the cool part right here is that within the context of these waves, right, we have other waves, right? So within this wave, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish wave 3. And then like we said, we really love, if you miss the wave 3 and you see that things are strong, right, you can still pull out your Fibonacci's on these and look for those retracements, right, for where wave 4 is strong, which is typically the 382, right? And you can see right here, or sometimes the 236, right? So you can see here from the lows of the day, right, we got a beautiful pullback right here, the 236 between the 382, and then we got an inside 5 just to start to really take this thing up and finish that wave 5 move into the highs of the day on AMD. So applying this stuff at the open, you don't necessarily have to catch the move at the open, but if you see that there's an impulsive move intraday, you can always pull out your Fibonacci retracements and look for those extensions to look for further entries, right? So even here, right, this was just this wave right here where it kind of pushed up right here, which could have been wave 3. Wave 3 just kept on going, and the wave 5 got bigger. So you can adjust these waves as you go. But what I really like about this move at the open on AMD is that it was a perfect, right? So 1, 2, 3, right, here's your wave back, and that was a 382 retracement right here to retest the prior inside 5 levels, which gave you that next boost up to get to the wave 3, which ends up being a beautiful, beautiful trade, right? And it turns out that just if you go from the lows to the highs right here, that this pullback too became very, very viable to find the next move up. Right, so really, really good stuff here, guys, and hopefully you find this helpful. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff, guys. I really appreciate it. So let's take a look here. Let's go to the daily chart and see what we got going on here. While we're on AMD, AMD ended up closing pretty decently with a hammer right here. And I like how it broke over the inside day high and held. A lot of these broke over their inside day's highs and pulled back in today. So I'd really like to see AMD try to get over its ADMA tomorrow as it's been holding its bump line. But anyway, that's just a digression there on AMD. Anyway, good stuff, guys. So Mike, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Good evening. Good to see you. Yeah, let's take a look at Apple today. So Apple hung in there, right? This is one of those ones that really couldn't take that inside day up with any really strength. Now, it did break to the upside, but it ended up finishing with a spinning top today. And it would have been nicer if it kind of had that hammer type style that AMD had. It's up a little bit after hours, but that was before, I think, the futures flushed. But Apple was tough today, right? So it gave a very, very tight triangle range for a little bit of a move. It just didn't get any follow through. Even its up move right here had a lot of declining volume. See that volume gap right there? Just made it really, really tough. You can see the volume crept in when it started to move down, right? So it was this is a tricky one to trade today. It's still kind of not in play right now, and was a rough move today. But it did hang in there a little bit. So that was a good thing on Apple. We'll see how it goes tomorrow to see if we can try to break out above that. But if we break down below these lows tomorrow, break down below 115, could see this 112.50 level, the inside day low, and then possibly test the 110 level. And then if it gets really, really weak, we could see a gap fill right here and a test of the 50 day. Right, so we'll have to see what tomorrow has in store. And then Nvidia. Yep, so Nvidia actually did better than most. It wasn't a true inside day yesterday. It ticked below the prior day's lows, but today was a strong gap up. Right, it gapped nicely over the lows. And started to push right here. Just found resistance at the 8 day on that one. So let's see if we can kind of continue to push on that. Again, up move right here. We did see some lackluster volume despite the up move today, which implies that a lot of today's moves was a lot of short covering type action, but not enough to be a professional gap where it gapped over. What I was really hoping for was a gap over a lot of these tails right here and really get these things going today. But we didn't really see that happen. So Tesla. Yeah, so Tesla was pretty nice too. That was a tough one, right? This was not a low volume fake out yesterday, right? So Tesla gave a nasty pullback yesterday. Now it did face plant itself into the 50-day moving average, and what I also like too is it kind of landed right on the bump line too. So that was good, but the fact that it closed at its lows and it had increased volume was still a little bit sketchy on it. But some members actually did take this long yesterday and got a nice gap up today. It was some tricky price action, right? So it was I know it looks small right there, but it wasn't just flat, right? So it was tough. It failed to break out of the 15 orb high this morning, right? Pulled back. Fortunately, it did hold all the pre-market levels and gave you a nice inside 15 here at the 15 orb low, which ultimately worked its way up higher high, higher low, and then held the ADMA up and drifted up nicely after hours off of that. So we'll see how that holds going into tomorrow. But Tesla, if anything, can squeeze things out. We still have an open gap above, even though it started to get into it today. It was almost looking like it was going to put an inside day today, which I was kind of hoping on. Nikola, nasty, right? So nasty pullback after the news. We were hoping, it is what it is. So I had some news here. It did give. It was just tough. It was just nasty pullback here today. Below the ADMA all day and just a nasty move down. They just that news has kind of wore itself thin after the GM buyout, right? So, or not the GM buyout, but the GM collaboration, right? So, so pretty rough move right there. If we see some more downside, I'm going to put Nikola actually on the bearish radar for tomorrow, just because that pullback is nasty. And if they could gap it, right? So it's right at the 50-day, right at the bottom of the cloud, but it did end up closing there below there. We do have some low volume on it, but if we do get a push below it tomorrow, we might see a push into that gap. Right, so we've got here. Hold on one second. Let me find the game plan for tomorrow. Okay, there we go. So Nikola, interesting, right? So Nikola, we'll keep that on the short radar. Good stuff. Great charts, Mike. Appreciate it. ZEK, what's going on? Yeah, so SDC. Let's see if we get any follow through on that one today. So SDC was definitely on the. Yeah, there it is. Beautiful. So SDC, strong candle yesterday. Great find yesterday. We put it on the bullish game plan from yesterday and gave a nice move through yesterday's highs. Ended up closing pretty strong there with a decent hammer, increased volume. So I like it, right? So let's see if that continue to get some more strength to the upside. I love when SDC is over $10. That shows, hey, maybe institutions want to start getting involved in this one. Snap actually had a really nice day today. It failed to break over this pivot level right here, key resistance area, but intraday was just beautiful, right? So we had a nice 15-hour breakout here this morning, and Matt, I mentioned this on one of the videos today. So we talked about 15-hour breakouts, right? How do you know when the 15-hour breakout is going to be good or bad, right? So sometimes it's hard to tell. But here you can see we got some nice increased volume right here to get out of the 15-hour high, and that gave you a push up to these levels right here. But I really liked about this one, if you miss the breakout move, you can catch the pullback. And this pullback was really, really nice today. Members actually pointed this out. They're like, hey, check out this pullback. We're like, oh, yeah, it's really nice. So it gave a nice pop into the to basically catch the same type of move just later in the day, and then found resistance again. Of course, it pulled back after that. Another one I wanted to show real quick, too, as an example of the 15-hour breakout was Amazon today. One of the things that we like, too, is, we love the inside candles. An inside 15 right at the 15-hour up high like this, right, that can trigger a big move, right? So we had a nice inside 15 here for a pop to the upside as well on the 15-hour breakout, and also Nvidia did it today as well, right? It gave you a double inside 15. It wasn't as close to the 15-hour up high, but once that cracked, right, you got a huge volume move, and that pushed you out of those levels right there for a nice push to the upside on Nvidia. So Matt, I just wanted to show you that. I know you were asking about it yesterday. Okay, good. And then Coop. C-O-O-P, the chicken coop company. So Mr. Koopa, the Mr. Koopa group. So good. So Koopa Troopa. We've got a nice follow through from yesterday. Gave a good push, but it's still hanging in there. Good volume coming in on this one. So pretty nice there. Good find on that one too. Great stuff, ZUK. Thanks for sharing. Alma, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, let's take a look at Penn. Some of our members traded this one this morning. Nice move, right? I like how it held the ADMA today. Kind of worked its way up. We're still kind of getting tight here on the daily range, right? So, let's see if we continue to push. But if you go to the 15-minute chart here today, great dip buy on this one here today. Held the after-hours lows with some lower shadows, right? And then started working its way up. Got to the 15-hour high, a little bit of a pullback right here, and then worked its way back up too. So nice move there on Penn. Let's see if we get some fall through the upside. And Shop. Yeah, so Shop is, I stopped trading Shop a while ago. Just the spreads have just gotten so obnoxious on the options. It's just been really, really tricky, right? But some people do some call spreads on, but even those are a little bit tricky as well. Inside day yesterday, really couldn't take it to the upside. Just keep an eye on Shop too with everything else. See if that breaks this candle to the downside. It might want to come back and test that inside day low or the cloud bottom on that one. And then Lulu, right? So Lulu with good earnings and down on it today, right? So it's pretty interesting right here. I do like how Lulu held like a lot of these this prior congestion zone area here, right? So did end up holding that as support, and it also bounced off of the cloud here today. And then just kind of closed on the lows. So see how it handles in here, right? We might consolidate for a little bit, and then it might try to work its way back up for a gap hill. There is at least some good potential on this one, given the good earnings, right, for a potential viable dip in the future. So definitely keep an eye on that one. And Shirley sent a few in here. Shirley, I only profiled the ones that are really the best to trade with options. So Lulu is one of them. So we just talked about that one, and then SDC we looked at a little bit earlier, but you're definitely looking at the right stuff. And so SDC, again, great follow through from yesterday. It was a great find, guys, that y'all pointed out yesterday, and a nice move there. So it's got work to do, right? So it's got some prior drop zone areas right here that it could test, and let's just see if it continue to push right here. But I do like seeing it over $10. So good stuff. And Shirley, really appreciate you, and everybody always appreciate your thoughts and prayers for Shirley as she continues to get better every day, which is awesome. Royal, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a great day too. Let's take a look at RH earnings tonight. Okay, so it's an inside day today, and I think this, of all the earnings that we talked about tonight, this one had the best, right? The best move, right? So a huge move up after hours and really, really strong. So keep an eye on RH. This one, it can be a little bit tricky with options, but it's gapping up right now to about 366 going in tomorrow. So we're looking at an opening around this range right here, which is a potential gap and go pattern for tomorrow. Okay, so definitely keep an eye on RH tomorrow. Make sure that it holds the after hours and pre-market levels, and if it could push above these levels, right, this 390 level, we could see a nice gap and go on that one. Or if it holds the lows, gives you a nice lower shadow and lower term time frame, you might get a pop up to at least try to test those levels. So that could be pretty good too. And then CWH, sorry, I thought you were talking about Chewy, right, which has earnings coming up tomorrow after the close. But CWH, yeah, hung in there today, held the 50, held the ADMA. It looks like that ADMA wants to cross back over the 50 too. I like how it closed above the cloud. I would like to see more volume on it, but yeah, definitely a nice move on that one. And then FSLY. FSLY with an inside day up today, low volume, but again, still kind of just chopping around here in its trend box, right? So again, impulsive move up, A, B, C correction down, so it might start to try to work its way back up here. I like the inside day up. I would like to see more volume on it, but nice stuff there. And then Overstock. What do we say? If you're ever bored, see what Overstock's up to, right? Double inside day on Overstock. That's definitely going on the game plan tomorrow. So let's take a look at that one. Double inside day Overstock. Great find on that one, yeah. So let's see what it holds right here. I like how it's kind of holding some cloud support here. Maybe it'll break to the upside, try to get over the 50-day moving average, and give us a little bit of move on it. If it breaks down, well, you got the cloud right there, so let's see how it handles that too. So good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks, Royal. Robin, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you are well. Thank you for making it. Let's take a look at Apple. Apples and bananas, right? So Apple, kind of the big thing right here, right, is this this bump line, right? The macro trend line would be right, not macro circle, macro trend line would be right here. Okay, so inside day yesterday, I was really hoping for more out of this one with the gap up today, but it really just couldn't push above those levels, so it got really, really choppy. It's been out of play recently. Let's see how it handles it. Now, it could be interesting to the short side if we break below this 115 level into tomorrow. We could see that 112 level, break down below there, could see 111, right? And then if it gets really, really weak tomorrow, we got open gaps here, right, in the 50-day, and then, I mean, that open gap is just a, I don't know, it could do it in a day if it wanted to, but goodness gracious, wait on there. But so, a little bit of sketchiness on that one, but if it does pull down, let's see how it holds the upward trend line, the macro upward trend line. So good stuff there. Matt, what's going on? Hopefully you caught the messages there on the 15-hour breakouts on that one. But GLNG, if not, definitely rewind it, right? So, oh, wow, yeah, great move on GLNG today. Goler, I love it. Goler, LNG, nice. So, yeah, big push up on that one. Good volume, got over $10 today, cleared a lot of these levels right here. Now, what's it up to? It is, yeah, good. It's looking pretty good right here. So, whatever this thing is, it is a nice candle today with some good volume. So let's see if that can continue to push its way up on that. Great find. And then Big. All right, so Big pulled back off of earnings recently, right? So it was earnings were it looks like they had a beat on that one too. So maybe let's see how it goes after ex dividend. Ex dividend is tomorrow. So let's see how it holds that, but it's coming back and retesting its upper trend line right here. If it can handle that and get above it, we might see a potential up move on Big, right, after good earnings and a potential dip buy on that. So that could be interesting. Atara Biotherapeutics. Yeah, biotech name right there, but a nice breakout of the cloud, so let's see how that goes. And then OTRK is on track. Yeah, on track, all-time highs, good volume today. I really like what it did here, right? So a nice move out of these levels right here, nice, pendant breakout right here. So let's see if we can fall through the upside. I like the volume today, very, very nice. Bagash, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. PRPL, the purple stock. So purple innovation, right? So nice move right there. Good pierce into the cloud right there. So it's just watch the resistance, the potential resistance on the 50-day moving average above. ALGN. Yeah, decent push right there today. Tricky stuff, right? So it's failed to really kind of get above this these highs right here. It pushed but couldn't do it, right? So again, just kind of see if it hangs up on these areas right here and tries to give a move. Okay. And then AMT, American Tower. So that one right there. So yeah, a push up there, right to the 50-day moving average, upper shadow right here. A little bit of caution on that one, just because the upper shadow below the 50-day moving average. And then Zoom. That's right, Zoom. So Zoom was nice, guys. Nice close today, guys. This is an evening star reversal, right? We had a real body right here, another real body down here. It would be nice to see it red, but still, you get the idea. Kind of a harami right there, and then we gapped above that and then pushed. So Zoom was actually really nice today, and then evening star reversal right here, right? So this is very, very interesting on the bullish side. Let's put that on the bullish radar for tomorrow. That looks really good. So that was a lot of evening star setups were setting up today, but not a lot of them finished because of their upper shadows. But great find on that one. Very, very nice. Usama, what's going on? AMD, let's take a look. AMD to 100, let's go! So let's see on this one again. Still below the 80 MA on that. Right, so inside day yesterday, I do like the gap up. I like how it held here with the hammer candle. Volume is a little bit down, but let's just see if we try to push its way back up on that one. Kind of an evening starish reversal too on that, but I would like to have seen a wider candle body on that. But a nice move there on that one. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get over the 80 MA and try to work its way back up. AMD can get tricky. It can get choppy, but when it gives nice moves, it gives great moves. So good stuff there. Truth, what's going on? Amazon for tomorrow. Well, Amazon was one of the stronger names today. Especially of the highly weighted names, right? We call them the big five, right? So Amazon did a lot of the heavy lifting today, right? When Apple was weak, right? Facebook got really weak today, right? So this was just kind of one of those it did its job today, right? So it was pretty strong today. It took the inside day up again. A lot of these are still below 80 MA. They really need to push over these highs to kind of close over these levels right here. So I was really hoping it would close at the highs. That would be a much nicer evening star reversal type look to it. And then Starbucks. Starbucks is an interesting one today, right? So it was down at the open. It was looking really, really weak off of this big upper shadow candle, and then they bought the dip on it, right? So a nice down move at the open right here. I love that huge shooting star here into the open. They just gapped down and just blah. But it held all the pre-market and after hours levels right here. Nice hammer reversal candle, and then just shot right back up to the 15-hour high. So that's nice there. Again, let's see how it holds. We got some geometric levels right here. Let's see if it can clear, maybe even call it like a falling wedge type pattern. If it can clear today's highs and make another move up on Starbucks. Nice find there. Gregory, what's going on? SPCE. Let's take a look. So SPCE, a nice push there off the 80 MA on this one. This was, had a good gap up today, but it really couldn't get going off of it. In fact, it turned into a reversal. Why? Well, because it put a big upper shadow here off of all the pre-market levels, right? And then it broke down below the 15-hour below. Right, so it gave a nice move there. Try to stay under the 80 MA, but this is kind of your high volume candle that showed, hey, might want to try to get higher. Finally tagged the 15-hour below after hours. So, and it's below this macro geometric line here, which was starting to look like the head and shoulders type pattern, which we broke out of. So it really needs to get above today's highs and try to get over the 50-day moving average, get over the cloud and all that stuff. But Space just does just because they're launching something in October and had an upgrade recently, just not enough to get this company to move in that doesn't really do anything, right? Except make bad designs of spaceships, right? Of interiors. So anyway, good stuff there. And then mRNA. Inside day, right? So let's see how that holds right there. Nice compressed area right there. Again, a lot of the biotech names got beat up a little bit after the AstraZeneca news this morning. So just tough one. Biotechs are always tough. Let's see if we can break out of that range. And Sebastian, what's going on? Shake Shack. Let's take a look. So Shack with a bull flag. Yeah, so flagging nicely right here. I like how it held the 80 MA. I like how it held the lows. Looking pretty decent here. Actually, has been moving up great after the pullback. See why sometimes pullbacks on earnings can be good, right? So held right here, got really, really choppy, and then boom, finally had a nice breakout move right here. Got some follow through. Yeah, definitely bull flag right here. See if we can push up above those highs and get some volume and make a move on that one. Great stuff. Great find, Sebastian. Let's do this. What's going on? Good to see you. IWM. Let's take a look. So the IWM, guys, has just been laggy, right? It's just been kind of range bound right here. Really, really tricky. It needs to get out of this range. It tried to do it up here. We thought it was bull flaggy right here at one point. Never got a move. Tried to go right here. Didn't get a move. And then the volume came in the last couple days. So IWM's got a lot of work to do, right? But it is holding the 50-day moving average. So again, it would help if the economy actually was the best economy ever, but right now it's just kind of hanging in there, right? So we got that going on. Good stuff. Sumit, what's going on? Good to see you. UVXY. Let's take a look. So UVXY with a pullback on that one. So which is kind of interesting, right? So with today's move up, right? Of course. But let's see how it holds. It might get a little spike right here. It's been finding some resistance at the daily cloud. The BAC. Bank of America, weak candle yesterday. Again, almost an evening starish type reversal, but just kind of inverted colors on that one. Gave a little bit of a push down below these levels today, but they reclaimed it. So again, really, really tight range right here. Let's look for some clues in the XLF on that one going in tomorrow. Same with C, right? Really, really tight ranges on this one. Again, we had a macro triangle on this, and that triangle just keeps getting bigger, right? So just not a lot of breakout moves on this. So just really just kind of continuing this triangle move, right? So just getting really, really tight. Again, it would be interesting to see if this thing could break out one way or the other. And then MRK. Let's take a look at Merck. So Merck with an inside day today. Again, really, really tricky range right here. It actually looks like it's kind of doing some sort of megaphone type thing, here. So just see how it holds these lows. If it comes back and tests prior to these lows, see if that holds maybe for a balance. But that's a really sharp megaphone, so it makes it a little bit tricky there too. So tough one to trade. Good stuff. Tracy, what's going on? Good evening. RKT. Yeah. So RKT, look at that. So down after earnings, right? So gap down right there, follow through there. Might be doing a little bit of a bear flag right here. Below the ADMA, another upper shadow on that one. Look for a breakdown below these lows to see if you can get some volume in there. Still have an open gap below, and possibly testing the IPO levels, right? So we're right. That move right there was a bounce right off the IPO high. We talked about that as a key level, right? So it's holding there right now. So breakdown below this low and this low could really start to see a push into those original IPO levels. And then Adobe. Let's take a look at Adobe. Yeah, so Adobe, nice, right? So this is has been epic, right, for some viable dips. So one of the things we looked at here recently was this big triangle breakout. What I really like is yesterday's down move despite the volume. I like that it kind of held that triangle range, right, for a nice move right there, and then a push to the upside here today. So let's see if we can kind of get back above that prior gap resistance level and try to make a move up. But so far so good, right? So let's see if that can hold. Good stuff. Michael, what's going on? Good to see you. SPY smooth today off the 15 order. Played right into the 342, which is a key fib low. Love it. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it. Yeah, SPY was a good one today. But yeah, very, really smooth today, right? Holding the ADMA and just a nice kind of smooth, grindy move up today, right? So, but dips were just buyable across the board on it today. Docu, nasty, right? Nasty pullback right here after earnings. I like how it's holding the 50-day right here. I like how it's consolidating in this range. Keep an eye on Docu. It did have an epic run up. That was the Corona crash for Docu, right? And there was right. So really interesting play right there. Again, maybe it'll get some. If Zoom continues to work its way up, maybe Docu could get a move there. Anjan. And then Spot had an upgrade this morning, right? Got a nice move up. Nice little gap up, and just couldn't hold it today, right? So it was tough. I would like to have seen it form an evening star reversal, but right now that ADMA is kind of weighing heavy on top of it, right? So we've got that going on. Mr. Mosby, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're well. Let's take a look at Beyond. So so Beyond actually gave a pretty decent move there today. Good volume yesterday. Again, it's still range bound. Right, that is the hardest part about Beyond, right? But sometimes it'll give some nice intraday moves, some pops, right? This was yesterday was the kind of the big recent move for Beyond. Today was a little bit trickier, but let's see if we can do work its way up, get over the cloud, maybe get some volume over there, and maybe Beyond can get going again. Maybe they'll keep regurgitating the same news like they did with Starbucks the other day. It's like, okay, we already knew you guys were doing Starbucks in Asia. But anyway, so TTD with the double inside day. That could be really interesting. Let's see which way it breaks out on that one. KO with a big inside day, right? So I don't like the big range inside day, but watch if it breaks down to the downside. It could be nasty, but it did have a nice move up recently. Triple M tried to give a push today, but Triple M will break your heart. It's such a tough one, right? So it looks like it tries to break out, then it pulls back, right? It's just really, really tricky stuff. And Microsoft, interesting, right? So I'm glad you brought up Microsoft, right? Because big TikTok news today. TikTok apparently looking to circumvent a sale. And that affected Microsoft a little bit, affected Oracle a little bit, affected Walmart a lot. So definitely keep an eye on Walmart tomorrow. In fact, I need to put Walmart on the bearish radar for tomorrow. It's actually on the 15 orb for tomorrow, so we'll just keep it there. But yeah, Walmart may see some more downside action, some pretty harsh news on Walmart since it got such a big move up on that news, right? Visa, again, a little bit of a bounce right there, rejected by the ADMA on that one. And speaking of MA, MasterCard, right? So a little bit stronger, right? Nice close right there. Yeah, kind of a morning stars type reversal. I'd like to see it get above that 8 moving average right there, the ADMA. So good stuff. Yeah, Michael, yeah, ZS and Work, both with earnings after hours today. So ZS, right? A little down move, but recovered a little bit here. And so kind of might open flat tomorrow. Work, again, Work just had earnings into today, right? We were expecting a little bit more of a move. Gave a quick little 15-orb pop today, but then mostly just kind of chopped around in its range here today. Got beat up pretty hard, right? But nice green candle today, guys. These highs can go into play on the second day off of a big gap down in a green candle. So Work might be one to kind of keep on the radar. We've got a 30-orb radar for tomorrow, so definitely something to keep see how it hands. ZS, head and shoulders on a 3-year daily. That would be interesting. Let's take a look here. So a 3-year daily. Inverse or just regular head and shoulders on this one. Yeah, it might be trying to work on one. Am I looking at the ZS? Yeah, so yeah, maybe. Okay, yeah, here's your shoulder. It's working on maybe a head pattern right here. Yeah, I can see what you're saying right now. And see if that starts to play out. So that could be very, very interesting. Yeah, nice spike on that one too. Possible formation of an A pattern right here. And then OSTK, right? So we looked at that one as well. So double inside day on OSTK could be interesting there. And then IMUX. Okay, yeah, good one right there. Nice push into the cloud with some decent volume on that one. BE. Bloom Energy, it couldn't quite do the evening star reversal, right? So it's got a little bit of work to do. And then APPS. Decent move off the inside day, some good volume there. Might want to come back and test the top of that geometric line, that triangle high. So that could be interesting as well. Good stuff. Umesh, what's going on? Costco. Welcome to Costco. I love you. So Costco, upper shadow there off the 80 EMA today. Tried to make a move today, but let's see if it can get strong with the rest of retail too. Keep an eye on Costco. Might be gearing up for an earnings run like Piton, which has just been epic. Talk about a dip buy on this one here. Just lower shadow right there, back over the 80 EMA, and then see a nice follow through here to the upside. Tomorrow is the last trading day before earnings, so premiums are getting high on it, but might want to do a little bit of an earnings run action on that one too. It's up 2 points after hours, so nice stuff there. And then Rick, so suave. Let's take a look at that one. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, I appreciate you being here. Really appreciate it. So suave with a 80 EMA hold, really nice move recently, right? Nice buyable pullback off of this one. A little bit of an upper shadow right here, so a little bit of caution with that. So see if we can kind of break above those highs. So good stuff. Truth. So you also Kirk. Let's take a look at Kirk. Captain Kirk. All right, yeah. So Kirkland inside day yesterday. Tried to break to the upside. Didn't really get much of a move off of it. A big upper shadow off that. Was still below the 80 EMA, so a little bit of caution there. See how it holds those levels. And then JD. That could be interesting. Yeah. So JD with an inside day on that one. Below the 80 EMA, tricky here, right? It could be kind of like a mini bear pennant, so just a little bit of caution on that one. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, Truth. I really appreciate it. And then Gregory, pins. Let's take a look. Yeah, so pins with an inside day, right? Decent day today. Inside day in the upper shadow of the prior range right there. We can see if it breaks out over that 36 level. That could be interesting. Nice push up after hours right here, so it's already over 36 after hours. Yeah, keep an eye on pins. See if it breaks out to the upside and gives a nice move on that one. Snap had a nice move today, so maybe this could follow suit. So good stuff, guys. Well, really appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Awesome questions and chart requests. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series on Elliott Wave this week. It's really great stuff. Once you kind of get it down, right, and kind of put the wave counts up there, it really helps to see, to gain more confidence in buying pullback. So that's really kind of one of the main features of it. And also to know when, if you might have more upside potential, right? So it really helps to know where you're at in your count intraday. So anyway, guys, good stuff. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks again for tuning in. If you're new here, please click subscribe on YouTube. And whether you're new here or not, as Bagesh said, please hit the like button. We always appreciate that. It goes a long way. And be sure to check the links in the description. Heather, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you are well. Yeah, we got Apple. And welcome to Costco. I know, exactly. It's such an awesome movie. So good stuff there. That's one of my favorite scenes, too, is like when they're going through the House of Representatives, and they're like, "Yo, South Carolina, what's up?" But anyway, so yeah, great movie. So awesome stuff, guys. I really hope everybody has a great evening again. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button, and we'll catch you guys bright and early on the YouTube channel. And hey, Pry, what's going on? Work for a bounce? We just looked at that one a little bit. It's trying, right? I think there is some potential on work. I'm not sure how long the bounce would be, but sometimes after a gap down and a green candle, if you push above that high, sometimes you get a little momentum move off of it for a day trade. So keep an eye on that one. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your evening. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll catch you bright and early on the YouTube channel. So subscribe so you can get that, and also follow us on Twitter. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys